Okay. Hello, gentlemen. Greetings from Toronto. How are you?
Hi,
Hello.
Bonnie.
How
Nice
are
to see
you?
you.
Yeah, nice to see you guys too, Robbie. Always great to see you for sure. We go way back, you and me.
Yeah.
Guys, I had so much fun watching this. Now, I am an avid walker. Like I walk every single day, at least 2 hours, but I am not a race walker. So, Coach Phil, I got some tips. Thank you very much. So I wanted it's like got out of myself a little better, I think, especially in this crappy snow. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, Phil, let's start with you because I want to know what the origins of this, how it all came together, the script. Like, I had no idea that race walking was an Olympic sport. I had to look that up.
Well, I mean, so we've always been fans of sports comedies and stuff like that. So we were looking for kind of our next project after our last one finished up, and we kind of came up with this idea. But race walking is something that we've kind of most people have at least seen it, but nobody really knows much about it. So obviously we had to really get into the research, and we were luckily able to work with Evan Dunphy, who's the Canadian Olympic race walker who won bronze a couple Olympics ago, and his coaches and stuff. So we think it what we learned is it's a really hard high performance athlete sport, but it looks objectively silly, and even they will tell you. Uh, so when we were conceptualizing it, we were kind of thinking of a way to put this all together, and we realized it would be if we could thread the needle here of taking the sport seriously, but also highlighting the world that might exist around it. That we would kind of have something. That was sort of where we got to.
Yeah, when I saw the title, like I immediately thought of like, the seniors walking in Yorkdale Mall, like that's what I thought about it. And then you guys were like, it was funny because you did address there was a race that we see with all seniors and stuff. So, Kevin, I want to go to you next because what's so funny about your character Matt, like he starts off, he's just, he was a baseball player, and then he just let it go, and he was a kind of a schlep, and then he really had to work out. So, did you have to get in shape? Like, did you start that way and then work your way up to get in great shape for this?
Well, I had to get into race walking shape. I wasn't that big of a bum before the movie started. I kind of had, but we worked with Stafford Whalen, who's like one of the top race walking coaches in the country,
Yeah.
and so he had to teach me and teach Robbie and teach the rest of our cast the stride and how to and the more I started doing it, the more I realized how difficult it is. And like Robbie can tell you about this, like when you're done doing it for a day, you are so sore. Like
I'm
you
sure.
are, it was brutal because it's just you never use those muscles ever. Like that and so it was grueling. It was totally grueling, and it was like a learning experience for sure. And yeah, it took its toll by the end of the shoot for sure.
Yeah, I'm
For
sure. Okay,
sure.
so Robert, you could address it too, but I mean, first of all, just even playing a guy named Ched, like Ched, it's not even Chad, it's freaking Ched. Like, I mean, it just made me laugh from the name. So for
I
you, I mean, I
know.
know these two guys directed it, you're a producer on this, but for you, how much fun did you have? Because it sure did look like a ton of fun.
Oh my God. Um, it was a blast. It's always great to work with your friends,
Yeah,
and they're so funny, and they wrote such a great script and such a weird script, but although it's really funny and goofy, it's still fairly grounded and has a ton of heart. And
for sure. Yeah.
it kind of it reminded me of movies that I grew up on that I loved, like Happy Gilmore and Cool Runnings. And I think that it's one of those movies that is sneaky charming and sneaky heartfelt, even
Oh,
though
big
you're like
time.
a
Yeah.
weird movie about race walking. And then playing a character named Ched Lester was just total, scratch off my bucket list because what a guy.
What a guy.
I think that once people start seeing this, people are going to want to buy your sweatsuit, those glasses. Like I think you've got
The
a
Pit
good marketing
Vipers.
ploy here.
My son, who was 4 at the time,
Yeah.
um, he stole all of the Pit Vipers that I wore in the movie, and we ended up the Pit Viper ended up sending us some kids ones too for him, and
Oh,
like I loved it. He like we went to I took him to a Jays game, and
Yeah.
everybody was wearing pit vipers, and I was like, oh shit, maybe these are
Uh-oh.
too cool for Ched. I think he was a little on top of things.
Only
But yeah,
Only Robbie can make, which he did, can make
Yeah.
Ched and race walking so cool. Like so
100%.
cool. He had like the mohawk, he had the
Yeah.
mohawk and the glasses, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh man, this guy's just on fire right now.
Designed him to be, like,
100%. I
Yikes.
agree. Yeah,
Just
I
throwing
totally agree.
100. Yeah, absolutely.
Very
designed
funny.
the character to be a bit of a joke, and then it's like, damn, this guy still looks cool.
Yeah, it still looks cool, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, listen, you could put a paper bag on Robbie and it would look cool, right?
He
I
would
mean,
make it
come
look
on.
cool.
please.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so Phil, I want to so you and Kevin, you co-direct this, you're co-starring in it. How did you guys keep it all together? And who did what? Like, how do you guys decide who's going to direct what? Who's going to direct who? Do you criticize each other? How does it work?
Well, I mean, all of that, like in terms of the keeping it together, we have some experience doing this on our previous project,
Yes.
which is called Short-Term Sentence, but you really lean on your team. Our co-writer and our producer, Evan Landry, among all his producing duties, like he's on monitor all day when we're in scenes together, and our DP Matt Barkley and our AD Connor Johnson. Like we were lucky enough to put together a super talented team that was really dedicated to making this work. And in terms of how we kind of delineate roles, we do a lot of prep. So we do a lot of prep. It helps that we wrote it, but we do a lot of prep in terms of exactly what we want out of every scene and that sort of thing. And it kind of comes out in the way it needs to, in terms of scenes that are a little bit heavier. We're in a lot of them together, but scenes where one of us isn't in it, obviously the other person's going to be
Sure.
taking on directing duties. But we make sure we're on the same page, and we really lean on our team to make sure we're getting everything that we want out of every scene. So
Yeah. And Kevin, for you too. Oh, we did address the sweatsuit, but you had to wear the shorts. Did you enjoy
Yes,
that?
I did. Yes, I did, and I wore them proudly.
You did.
The temperature also dropped 20 degrees once we started shooting the race walking stuff. Day one of race walking, we were hydrating everybody, making sure nobody got heat stroke.
Yeah.
And day 6 of race walking, we were in parkas around heating tent or heaters. It was a 20 Celsius drop from day 1 to 6.
This? I was trying to place it. Where was it shot?
We shot in Toronto. That was actually one of the more annoying things for me, because we shot in the fall, and I was making fun of these guys because I'm like, you guys have to wear these tiny shorts and tank tops, but I'm going to be in track suits. I'm going to be cozy. And then it started out, it was randomly 30 degrees at the end of September for a few days, and I was sweating, trying to hydrate, and then the temperature was pretty fast.
We shot it on, what was it called? Homestead, right at sort of Bloor and Old Mill.
Okay. Yeah, no, I couldn't place it when I was watching, and I was like, oh, okay, it's good. Yeah. Looks like a good place to walk. Okay, cool.
Yeah, a lot of it is a stretch of road along the river, basically between Dundas and Bloor Street.
Okay.
If so yeah, it was beautiful. I mean, we had a beautiful location, and then there was a day when we went to Hamilton to shoot a piece of it. Robbie, that was a day that was cold. It was you and me doing
very cold, and we were getting sprayed down with our fake sweat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Short shorts and fake sweat and freezing.
And pit vipers.
Well, Robbie, didn't you do Code 8? And you did Code 8 in Hamilton too, right? You do a lot of shooting.
Yeah, we can't get away from the hammer. It's it's great.
Well, which
it looks dystopian sometimes, and it looks like the race walking Olympic trials. They've got everything.
It's got everything, man.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, so and also I got to give Greg Brick props. I thought he was so funny in this. I love seeing him and stuff. Just trying to do scenes, and I mean, Robbie's playing your dad, and he's such a dick. I mean, come on, so much fun to watch it.
He's so good. He's so talented. He's one of those chameleons where you're like, this guy can do anything. He just turns into whatever character is he's playing. Like, he plays a full-blown psychopath in Code 8, and then he steals the movie in Racewalkers. He's so funny. He's also the most grounded, genuinely kind guy you've ever worked with. He's so prepared. I cannot say enough great things about Greg Brick. And when we wanted him to do this, he said, no problem, but you have to give me a Father's Day card this year. And I said, okay, deal.
Makes sense. Just throw some of the sunglasses in the envelope, and I'm sure he'll be really, really happy. You guys are a great team. I think you guys work really, really well together. Why does it work so well with the three of you, Phil?
I mean, I think it works well because there's a lot of trust. We're all bringing kind of our own things to the table, but all of us are very collaborative, and I think for this project specifically, we all trust each other, and we all kind of get what we're doing. It's a movie where you need to kind of nail your tone in order to kind of accomplish all the things that you want to accomplish in terms of the heart and the comedy and all that kind of stuff. So being on the same page and just trusting each other to all be kind of pointed to that true north the whole time. I think that's why it worked.
Okay, Kevin.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's also a lot of mutual respect. I think Phil and I look at the work that Robbie's done, the work that Collective Pictures does as a whole, Jeff and Chris and Italia and everybody there. I mean, there's a lot of trust and there's a lot of respect. And I think because of that, we're able to just kind of lay everything out as sort of we need to when we need to be honest about stuff. And then we just go. And it's just one of those things where I wouldn't want to work with anybody else. Phil and I have worked together before, but getting to work with Robbie was the best thing that could have happened for us. And he's a modest guy and humble, and but he's not only really, really talented, he's got great instincts, such good story instincts, where it's like he would bring stuff to a scene where Phil and I are like, oh, that's better than what we wrote. There you go. That's exactly what we should be doing. And just totally dialed in. And then we get in our edit and we're like, he was exactly right. He was 100% right. And so, I'd work with Robbie, any day of the week.
Okay, Robbie, wrap it up. I mean, it's like you have so many great, like these guys say, I've known you for so many years and talked to you for pretty much every project you get to do. And honestly, you really do pick them well. I gotta say. So to be able to work with these guys, I hope that there'll be more collaborations.
Oh, I have some bad ones. Don't dig too deep, okay? Phil and Kev are very kind and generous with what they've been saying, but honestly, when I saw their web series and short-term sentence, they just to do something, with what they had on that in the way they did was super impressive. And Jeff and myself really just wanted to do our best to give them a bigger canvas, and they nailed it. They made all their days. They worked their ass off. They were super prepared. Like for a feature directorial debut, it was wildly impressive. And I'm excited to see what they do next and hopefully be a part of it.
Yeah, I hope so too. Well, guys, thanks so much for your time today as a fellow, Torontonian, Canadian. I'm very proud of you guys. And it really is such a fun film, and best of luck with it at Slam Dance. I know everyone's going to love it. And I'll talk to you again. So thank you. And we'll see you guys again soon. Appreciate it.
Thanks
so much.
Bonnie.
Okay.
Good to
Have
see
a
you.
great day. Take care. Bye-bye.